Hello, everybody. Glad to hear that you got your shot and you're gonna be fine for about 2 hours after it, after which you're gonna start having some issues. Okay, so yeah, I had number one, yes, I did get my shots on last Monday, but it usually takes a couple days, 2 or 3 days before they start fully working. And then I had a very unpleasant surprise because I was running low on my energy supplement, and I had the unpleasant surprise to see that my regular supplier didn't have it in stock. It was like, just leave your email and we'll tell you when we get it. So I started looking for somebody else, and I finally found several people. I kind of looked which of them gave the best price and the best shipping and everything, and I got it. And then I noticed that the shipping label had been created. I guess a lot of people are not, number one, aware of all the technology we have available at this point. So hi Elaine, Renee, Janine, and Judith. And the other thing is that they believe their customers are, even if they know, they believe that their customers might not be aware. Anyway, so I noticed that they had created a shipping label, but the package was never received by the post office. Hi, Jana. And I emailed after 2 days because they were saying 1 to 5 business days shipping. And after 2 days, I messaged them. I was like, okay, when are you actually going to ship it? And then they repented because I said, this is what USPS says. Keep in mind, they hadn't sent me any kind of notification. And she replies, oh, I don't know what happened. USPS must not have updated it. This is the tracking number. So the next day, so the third day, so I purchased it Sunday. Label was created Sunday. I first messaged Tuesday, and then the next day, Wednesday, she's like, as I said, sorry, first I replied, I know how USPS updates because I do ship myself. Hi, Silver, Judy, and the other Renee. And this is why I messaged you, because I didn't see any kind of update. And USPS right now is real time. It's not like they go after 2 days to update their stuff. Then Wednesday, she replies, I reshipped your order and I put another bottle in there for all the inconvenience and blah, blah. So I looked Thursday morning. Thursday she shipped it. It was showing on the same tracking number. And I replied to her, you know what, learn how to lie better, because you cannot reship with the same tracking number, with the same label. It's impossible. You just went and put it to the post office after I started making waves. So instead, yeah, I was going to say something about that, if you just give me a minute. So anyway, instead of getting my supplements by the latest Friday, I didn't get them until yesterday, and it was like 1:30 in the afternoon, so it was too late for me to take it. So I practically didn't do much of anything because I was just barely dragging my sorry ass from one room to the other. And I didn't do my fingernails. Now you can see when I kept saying that my fingernails are very yellowish because they are very thick, so they don't look very pretty without nail color on them, because I'm catching up on cleaning and stuff, and I don't want to put nail polish on, have it all messed up while I'm cleaning, and then have to put it back on. But you're gonna have to support me today with ugly fingernails. Okay, so what I wanted to show you today is how to make, and I'm going to try to do two. Let's see how much I managed to sit on this chair, because I only had one shot in the left shoulder and one shot in the trigger point in the back. I didn't get the other shoulder done, so we'll see how well I do. So the first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of white pearl that I have here from testing something. And I'm going to just use it as is, right? And I didn't grab my cutters. Let's do teardrop because it's the easiest to do. Okay. Now, I said that I was going to show you how to clean your tiles, and because I have one that I forgot to clean, let's see, because you can see it is all nasty from previous bakings. Hi, Colleen. So what I'm going to do first is to grab one of my old blades. So don't do this with a nice sharp blade. Keep one of your blades that started getting dull and use it just for this. And I'm going to simply do this to remove any kind of residue of any, and you can see there's some that's left here. And then I simply get some alcohol on it. Now these tiles, these are the ones that I like the most. You can find them at Lowe's or Home Depot. They are too expensive to buy on Amazon. They're about $1 or under $1 at Lowe's and Home Depot. And when I was telling you, when buying tiles for baking, and these are glass actually, when buying tiles for baking, choose glass or marble, because the ceramic ones, number one, they are not perfectly flat. They have a slight dip in the middle and a little lip on the edges, so you want glass stuff. And they have absolutely no problem going in the oven. Now, because I don't want to have the back of my earrings all shiny, even if you can just simply remove the shiny with a little bit of sanding, but my next move will be to cover it with wax paper. And again, if you have, I never get the wax paper with both sides waxing. Yeah, but I'm not gonna buy a new blade just for this one. I have so many old blades. If you just started and you don't have an old blade, then yeah, buy a stiff blade. So the wax paper for polymer clay, don't ever buy the one with both sides waxed, because if you use the waxed side, it's going to be shiny. So you need the non-waxed side, and this is where I'm going to put my stuff. Now obviously what I'm going to do is first to get rid of this fold line, because I don't want it here. Much better. And simply cut. And I'm going to use the teardrop Primo cutter. Let's see, I don't want them to be super large, but I don't want them to be too small, so definitely not the larger one. Now, do I want this or do I want this? I think that... Hold on, I'm trying to see myself. It's up to you. Okay, I'm gonna choose the third one in the set. And let me cut 2 of them. A little acrylic. Because my hands are so bad, and because I don't like my fingers to hurt when I press, I just use my little acrylic block. And I didn't do it because I want this on there. So let's cut the second one. Now, once again, I told you, there's, because you have with the metal cutters, you always have a little thing from the joint here. Don't bother about it. Don't even waste your time to fix it by cutting or anything, because just a simple swipe of sandpaper is going to take care of this. Okay, so this is going to be my base. Now what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to make a whole big amount, I'm going to get, let's say this would be about quarter of an inch by, oops, 1 1¼ inch. Let's see how good I am about that. I know I need to clean this area really bad before I start working on anything else. Well, I did have a ruler. There you go. So I said 1¼ inch. I guess I'm pretty right on the mark. And 1/4 inch. I'm good. See? Okay, so I'm gonna get white pearl, and then I'm going to get the same amount, double the amount, sorry, of translucent. So and I said double the amount, so this much, and then 1 sliver of violet. Hi Kazimi. So just a little sliver. I'm not going to even go by the measurements or anything, because I want 1 sliver, about 1 millimeter, not more. This is all I'm using. Okay, now the base will be the translucent. On one side of the translucent I put the white pearl. If you don't have white pearl, you can use white on both things. And then on the other end of the translucent I'm going to use the violet. And then I'm going to make an itty bitty Skinner blend. If you want to make a whole bunch of them, of course you can make a larger Skinner blend, but you know me and my economy, and especially in this time. And by the way, polyclay play, oops, What the heck did I do here? Where did I pick up that red? Polyclay Play is going to receive Pardo tomorrow, maybe sometime this week, and then Primo next week. Just be aware that starting Friday until the 9th of May, she's going to be out of town visiting family, so there will be no shopping, no shipping. But if you want to get hold of the stuff, so yeah, and I'll probably Sunday I'll have another giveaway. Okay, so as I keep talking, I keep doing this little thing, and I want it to be, see, it's too linear. I'm going to do that famous V fold, in which I don't put it line on line. I'm going to bring it a little bit more in, so that I extend a little bit my violet, not too much, because I don't want it to go all the way over. Now you can do this using pink as well, because what we are doing is a clover flower. So how many of you got the vaccine for now? I can tell you one thing I have. When I went last week to get my shots, they put in my file my little card with the vaccine, and as a result, I immediately the next day I got 2 calls from 2 of my other doctors, which I was intending to call anyway, but they're like, oh, you got your vaccine, you need to come in for your follow-ups. Okay. So in May I have to date 3 doctor's appointments. What can you do? But again, you see, you don't really need because I had a lot of beginners who messaged me to say, oh, I don't have a pasta machine. Is it that hard to do a Skinner blend? Depends on the clay you're using, honestly, how hard it is. So yeah, I'm also supposed to wash my hair sometime today, but I also want to dye it, so that's not, I didn't have time before the live, because you know the whole thing takes at least an hour, and anybody else who dyes their hair knows that hair dye catches color much better on dirty hair. So I usually don't wash my hair for 2 or 3 days before dyeing it, so that I get a better color. And I'm gonna have to trim it some to get rid of that horrible Furia lightener. Okay, this should be pretty much good, but I'm gonna put it to the side, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of you can use regular green or pearl green. Again, it's up to you. And once again, I'm not gonna use a lot of it. And this is the jungle. If you don't have jungle, just mix a tiny bit of black in the regular green with a droplet of ultramarine, and you'll get something similar. Okay, so this is a little bit more than I need, but if I get any smaller, you won't be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm using the same thing for mixing pretty much. Because this way it folds like many times. So you can mix the whole thing much better. Because we need this for leaves, obviously. And one more and we should be fine. Okay, before I go one more time, and I'm not actually going to go one more time exactly, what I'm going to do is to stack these, approximately eyeballing, stacking. So again, you don't have to go all the way to obtain a perfect mix of the colors. Okay. And stack again. And stack again. And at this point I'm pretty good. And this you can cut it by hand, or you can use a camper cutter, or a the tiniest one of the teardrop. Because first we are going to apply the leaves. Alright, so with my glasses. So I'm going to cut a few, make sure that it's well and nice stuck together. And try to cut it at the semi-equal Alright, then I'm going to try and get them on the same thickness pretty much. Stay here. And your best bet is to make them a little on the thin side. And again, you can do this by hand, you don't really need a cutter, but it is better with a cutter. Let me grab the campers. I guess I don't have a camper teardrop. That's something I need to buy. Yay, she made it home. Okay. That's the whole thing, Judith. Number one, it's that people below the age of 50 have a higher risk I mean, the percentage is much higher, but what you have to think is that it's a 0.00 something. They still didn't figure out what is causing it, but it's hard to say because I haven't seen any study showing how many people who didn't get the vaccine got blood clots. Because you cannot say it was caused by this unless you have a, oh god, I'm having a brain fart. It's called it's not witness. I forgot the medical term for that. Comparison, let's say comparison thing. But honestly, you can avoid blood clots simply by taking daily aspirin and make sure that you move. But anyway, it is known that, in fact, it's over 50, they had less than under 50. It was the most prominent from, like, I think, control group, thank you, Renee, from like 25 to 49 was the highest, which was still well below 1%. But I've been looking to see for other things. But see, they never said if those people were taking any kind of medication, if they were taking any kind of supplements, if they were taking any kind of anything. Because just because somebody didn't have a blood clot before having the vaccine and has a blood clot a month after having the vaccine, it doesn't mean 100% that it was caused by the vaccine. And by the way, comparing the lethality or morbidity of the side effects of all of the vaccines with other vaccines, and even the side effects. Come on. I know I got the new shingles vaccine, the one that needs a booster, and I called them and I said, I'm sorry, I am not coming back for the second one. Well, contraceptives by themselves can cause blood clots, so that's another point in saying that most likely it wasn't the vaccine. Okay, and you can do this to be perfectly symmetrical if you want. I'll have to check more into that, Pamela. But as I said, I know that birth control has been shown to cause blood clots. Okay, so as I said, you can make them perfectly symmetrical. And no, I'm not going to leave this like this. I'm going to cut it again. Or you can make it a little bit asymmetrical. Right. Now let's fix fix these leaves. Actually, I'm gonna fix it with the X-Acto knife. It's easier. And you can do, remember that I have at least 2 tutorials on how to make clover, actually shamrock, realistic clover. So if you want to go for that, you can go ahead and do it. And now let me zoom in, because this is important. Let me make sure I'm perfectly focused. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so first make sure that you're well nice and flat. Don't worry much about this area because you're gonna cover it, but what you want to worry is this. You're gonna make a little bit of striations. And make one of them with the striations more towards the perpendicular and one of them with the striations in a more acute angle. Again. It just makes the leaves a little bit more noticeable from afar. That's pretty much it. Nothing special. And if you want, you can just leave it and get over this. You don't have to make these striations. It just makes the whole thing look prettier. Bye. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. It's easy to get off camera when I'm in Zoom, and I didn't watch the... Okay, now let's do the little flowers. So I have this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, to first get it on a thin I want it narrower than this. I need to start. Let me get a little bit off the zoom here. Because I want this way narrower than this. And as I said, you can do this, you don't have to use the pearl. Okay? You definitely don't have to use the pearl. So I want this about 1/4 of an inch before I get with it through the pasta machine. So I want this. And I'm going to use the itty bitty cutters. Let's get a little bit closer, not all the way close. Okay. For the next step, you need some of these bitty cutters. I'm going to actually grab the largest one. Or you can use your camper cutters if you want to. And you'll also need a toothpick. And I'm going to cut so that I have both the whitish and the purplish here. And once you remove this, you can recreate the Skinner blend and make more. You generally need about between 20 and 30 per flower if you want to make it look really good. Okay, so, whoops, stay there. I didn't cut this very good. So all you do is to fold color on color pretty much. Get this out. And make sure I cut this one right. Okay, and this one the same way. So make sure that it is properly done here. Fold, 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 and there we go. We can start again. And we can start again and make this anew. Now, so you have the purple and then you have the white. Position your toothpick on the purple end and then what you do is pretty much wrap it. And gently move it, and you will start from the top of the flower. Just simply push a little bit with the toothpick, and again you can make them more pointy. If you want to make them more pointy, use one of the teardrop camper cutters. And then gently hold here, gently hold the end, and start wiggling the toothpick until it comes off clean. And again, place here, and you can make them even smaller. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it. Good morning, CJ. One more for this row. Again, I start with the purple and I don't go all the way in, I go about 2/3. And then start doing the second row the same way. Start. As I said, it is a little bit time consuming, but the result is very, very precious. And now you start kind of in the middle between the two previous ones. You can actually start with just 2 of them and then go to 3, go to 4, and then go back in the number of these little tubes you're putting there. And you can make a whole bunch of other kinds of flowers in this style. Yes, I did have a clover flower tutorial on my list. I had a lot of things on my list, but sometimes life gets in the way. And as I said, you can go even smaller than this. It will look even more delicate if you go smaller than this. This second row to be a little bit larger than the other one. But also remember, I try to avoid making things too small in tutorials because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. Now with the third row, I'll definitely go smaller. I mean less little tubes. On the second one, I'll show you what's a second way that you can do this. Because you can make these 2 ways. Finnegan is finally sleeping. He had, I don't know if you have cats and if you have noticed that whenever the cat poops, it looks like the Dakar rally when it comes out of the litter box. Why do they have to run around like crazy once they pooped? I have no idea. But all of them do that, and Finnegan did that earlier, and then he didn't stop running for like half an hour. And what cracks me up is that he kind of barks when he runs around. He goes like just a crazy kitty. Yeah, on May 5th we go for his annual boosters, and to get some blood work done to see if his whole plumbing system is okay. So at this moment we should be pretty much good. Now the other way of doing this, let me get this again properly, and it's up to you which of them you want. You can do little wisteria style stuff like this as well. I hope to be able to show you next time. Actually not next time, I'm gonna skip a week, and next time I'm gonna show you canes, various canes. Yeah, he is, and I think I posted a video on his page with him running amok. He just sits still, and then suddenly he lifts his head, looks left and right while his tail goes toink, 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 and then he starts running. And he parkours a lot. Connor, when he's doing that, he usually tries to climb the door frames for some reason. Because Connor is big and serious as you see him, he does that too. The only one who doesn't do that is Seamus, but Seamus is the one with issues, so. Okay. Now, what you want to do is to get it on the thickest, not thickest, let's say like the third thickest setting. And I need to find my, actually I'm gonna still use the, never mind, I'm gonna still use the toothpick. Okay, and now I'm going to cut, oops, to cut little things, little strips here. Why did I do that? And I'm cutting because I want all of them to be kinda even. And you can do these all white if you want. But remember, the clover is either all white or it's got a little bit of purplish, or it might even have a little bit of pinkish when it's red clover. Okay, let's say that these are enough of them. So I still wanted them to be a little bit shorter than this, so I'm going to. And again, I normally make them smaller than this when I do this, but it would be kind of hard to show. And taper the ends. Get them shorter, round, and then taper the ends. Alright. Because I want to do both flowers so you can see how that works. And I'll show you for one of the next flower things. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sit on the chair much longer, I mean after 1 hour, but I'll show you something that if you don't have, you can buy, because this will be for a little bit later in May for summer stuff. That's good for brooches and earrings and pendants and stuff like that, but it's something that's easy to make because it all involves cutters and molds, so you don't have to really worry about that. So you're gonna get a little bit of like worm-like or cocoon-like thingies here. And normally when I make these, they would be about half this size, both in length and in thickness. And of course, once they are baked, they have a slight translucency in them. Okay, so, and again, start at the, let me get this off, so I can just move this one around. Put it on a mirror tile. Okay, so again, we start at the top. I'm going to place one, then come from the top right here. This is what you need. Then I'm going to place two a little lower, and you can, if you want, you can go a little bit in here if you want. So the next two go a little bit lower. Now for the next one, you're gonna do them kind of in your hand because you don't want to smush the rest. So again, press and go a little bit in, and then set it, because you want these ones, you want them to kind of stand up a little bit, and these ones should a little bit too, but you want them to kind of stand up. And again, press and push in a bit. Remember, this is again one of those things that they don't have to be perfectly realistic. It's just to fool the eye into believing that it is very realistic. Because the eye already associates this color pattern and this. Let it leach. Get some printer paper, blank obviously, and then get your clay on the thicker setting on the pasta machine, and then put it between two sheets of printer paper and put something heavy on top and let it sit, and start checking after 2 hours. Start checking pretty much every hour. You might want to change the printer paper because you'll see how it sucks. If it's got too much plasticizer in it, you need to leach it. I should have made thicker, but I mean more in the middle, but oh well. Here we go. Hi, Roberta. Make sure that you never use printed paper, because whatever is printed might come off on the clay. Okay, so the second way, and again, try to make it smaller than what I did here, but you can see the differences. You can do either of these, and then at the very end, right here, once you're done with all of this, grab some of that green mix and first again, now this is not a realistic thing, but it's going to make your little flower look good. And again, make these, I usually call them rice grains. Make rice grains, long grain rice. And then place one here, go like this with a toothpick on it. Come on, get off my finger. Flip it over and place it. Come on, place it. Sorry, I was looking at the monitor. And again, use your toothpick. You left it too long. That's why I said put it under a book or something. I mean, put a book on top of it. And then after the first 2 hours, start checking every hour. You left it for way too long. That is good to use in cracked polymer clay stuff. Okay, so place 3 or 4 of these little leaf-like things, and then for the very last, grab one more or less roundish thing, just slightly make it ovalish, and place it here. And there you have the bottom of the flower, and do the same for this other one. So this would be it. Let me show you for the future what I'm talking about, and make sure that Trish has it actually. I think that she does. There are several daisy type cutters. Let's see. On Trish's thing, and you can find them more expensive or less expensive. Let me find first both of them. Okay, grab them. So you can find these in regular cutters as well as daisy cutter. Yeah, you can. Just cut one slice of the hard one and one slice of the too soft one, and then start rolling them together. Okay, so these, let me I forgot to unzoom. Okay, so these are the daisy cutters, and you can find them cheaper or more expensive. Some of them are, the brand ones are expensive. The non-brand ones are not that expensive, so you can use any of these. And as I said, there are some on Trish's store in Polyclay. There are some regular metal daisy cutters. And then this, which is an absolutely awesome thing. Let me show you, and please don't forget to use my affiliate link. We're gonna do some daisies and we're gonna do some zinnias, and that's going to be, so this is the daisy center stamps, and as you can see there are several, but as I said, these are more expensive, less expensive. Hold on, let me get the metal ones. See, there are all kinds, and they work beautifully. I don't think I have a yellow here. Let me show you. Let me show you on the pearl white. Little stamps, and I prefer to keep them like this because I don't want to lose them around the house. But theoretically, what you do is you simply don't move it around, just put it on, and as for everything else, I just get the stuff back. So you can see it is all nice and all daisy-like. And you can use another tinier one to do, if you want to do a full-on daisy thing, you can do a tinier one on top of this one. Just be very, very gentle with it, don't cut through. You can just and it's going to be just fine. But yeah, these two things go beautifully, and it's very easy to make stuff with them. If you don't have the patience or the expertise to sit there and tuk, it's an easy way to do all kinds of other stuff just using these. Because we'll do all of this going on. Not sure if next time, I'll have to see about the canes thing. As I said, I'd rather do the canes thing because I know everybody's got some canes there, but we'll definitely do some daisies. Because you just use this for making a multiple thing, both with for daisies and for zinnias, and it looks quite decent. Might not look as good as Rosalina or Stephanie Petitplat, but it will look very decent when it comes to summer jewelry. Okay, so I will see you next Sunday, and this time there is no severe weather. Now I have to remind you though that we are in May. We are going to be in May starting Saturday. And by the way, Saturday it's the May 1st, so sorry, see, I started getting tired. So it's the monthly chat. But I remind you that I live in Tornado Alley. Theoretically, We don't have much of a very severe stormy weather noonish. It usually starts after 3 o'clock. But with the weather being what it is lately, I don't know. So I will pretty much announce it ahead of time. So just wanted to let you know that there might be some rescheduling if we have tornadic weather, not necessarily tornadic, but if we have a lot of wind and stuff like that, I can lose power, and if I lose power, I lose internet. So okay, thank you so much. Don't forget to thumbs up, and I'm going back to work because we are supposed to have severe weather today. Okay, have a wonderful not Sunday, Tuesday. Duh, I'm used to Sunday. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.